Hello, 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 and
Hello.
welcome to Tuesday Talks with the Conways.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Chris. And we're glad to have you all back here this week. Um, we have the camera a little higher to try to fix the lighting, so hopefully you don't see us staring down at our notes a little bit too much. But hopefully you all enjoyed last week. We know that we greatly appreciated having a little bit of break while I was out of town. So glad to have you all with us this week. Hello, Redina.
Hello, Regina.
Love to see you all here. But yes, so we've got a good topic, and we're still trying to get our screens situated. So appreciate you being with us. But while we wait on everyone to join us, did want to let everyone know that the podcasts are recorded. So if you want to catch a previous video of one of our podcasts, feel free to head over to YouTube. And if you need a audio version of the podcast to listen to while you're traveling, working out or whatever, you can take a look at the podcasts on Apple's Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts.
Hello,
Hello,
Linda,
Linda.
Devin, and Lydia.
Glad to have you all here with us this week. I had a very busy work week last week. I was in Seattle, where there was lots of stairs.
Yeah.
Lots of stairs. The office I was working in, I was working on two different floors, going back and forth. But also on my off time, I decided to get up at 4:40 Pacific time so that I could still get up with Courtney and Kathleen. So I had 2 hours to kill before I had to be at the office. So I was fortunate enough to be walking distance from Pike's Place.
Mhm.
Pike Market place in downtown Seattle. So I just walked down to the water. I got to sit in front of the water and watch tugboats pull, barges and ferries come in, and seagulls, and got lots and lots of steps in. So I was quite active. I came home very, very, very sore. But it was an overall really good week.
Mhm.
And I think that I had a decent balance between working on staying on plan and being active, um, eating at restaurants and having kind of catered stuff all the time. So it was an interesting balance. I'm
Mhm.
glad to be home, glad to be back with
I'm
Courtney
glad he's home too.
and Kathleen. I'm glad to be 100% back in control of what I eat, and back on my regular schedule. So that kind of leads us a little bit
Mhm.
into our topic for the day. So if Courtney would like to introduce our topic for the day, and then we'll get started.
Yes, tonight we are talking about breaking free of the start over Monday cycle. So many times we kind of use the weekend as a free for all,
Hmm.
or not just the weekend. Like we'll kind of mess up by Tuesday or Wednesday and be like, oh, I'll just start over on Monday.
Hmm.
Um, we used to be very bad about that, especially when it came to the weekends.
Hmm.
So just breaking that cycle of starting over every single Monday, because if you start over every single Monday, you're never going to get anywhere.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's not necessarily a start over Monday, but it's as soon as you notice it, the next meal, the next activity, that's when the reset needs to happen. It just doesn't need to wait until
Hmm.
the next Monday, the next week, the next month, or whatever. And the moment you kind of get off track, immediately kind of get back on track. And as Devin mentions, keep tracking and the Healthy app is
Hmm.
super beneficial for him. So just do whatever you need to do to get back on track. But I know that we've talked about our kind of 2 year plateau, and that was really it all came down to us being really consistent during the week and not being consistent during the weekends. And so we kind of just lost and gained the same 10 pounds. So now being consistent is definitely going to be
Hmm.
a bit, it has been. We've seen some major changes
Yeah.
this year because 2026, our, guiding principle, our key word for the whole year is
Consistency.
consistency. And so we need to break this cycle so we can be productive
Hmm.
and get out of this kind of loop.
Yes.
But yes, we'll have a couple of different things that we can talk about in regards to this.
Yes, but there's so many times that we'll just say, "Oh, this week is different," but then the same thing happens as the week before, and then we're like, "We're going to start over on Monday. Next week is different," and every week there's always going to be something
Mm,
bad, negative, just
busy
something.
schedule
Yes, there's
wise.
always going to be something. So if every time something goes not as planned, and you just say, "We're just going to start over on Monday," or even some people, I've heard some people say, "I'm just going to start over the first of next month." if you always are starting over, it's just not gonna work. And like we said, a lot of times it's the weekend. You have that weekend fall off wagon, you feel guilty, and then you're just like, I'm gonna restart on Monday. And it's just this big loop that happens
Mhm.
week after week, and sometimes it's every other week. But it's just this big loop that is over and over. It's like an endless cycle.
Like for example, if you go off track on Wednesday night, so your dinner is off track, aim to go back on track Thursday morning. So
Mhm.
the very next meal, the very next activity, you miss working out when you have it scheduled, the very next day, just try to add your activity back in and make sure
Yeah.
you don't miss it.
Yes, this weekend, for instance, Chris came back Friday night. Friday night, we had Five Guys. We did not eat healthy. Saturday was also the food was kind of out of our control, so it was also a not so healthy day. But he looked at me Saturday night and was like, "Okay, tomorrow, Sunday, we're on it."
Hmm.
In the past, we would have just waited till Monday and had a
Another off
free
day.
for all for Sunday. And but Saturday night, he was like, "We are on it tomorrow." And Sunday, we did great. Like we were
Hmm.
back at it and back at our normal eats, back at our activity. We made it to the gym.
Hmm.
So you can have those days where you not eat whatever you want,
But
but
you
where
can
you
have
have
those
your
off
treats,
days.
you can have your off days, you can have those off moments, the crazy days, the days that don't go as planned, and still just start right
You
back
don't
at it.
have to wait until Monday to get back on track. You
Mhm,
mess up on Saturday, get back at it on Sunday. You mess up on Wednesday, get back at it on Thursday. So
mhm,
immediately kind of get back on track. We've had this comment before multiple times. A lot of times we get stuck in this all or nothing mentality. If I mess up one snack or one meal, might as well mess up the rest of the day.
mhm. Yes, and Jody asked a question. She's celebrating her birthday next week, and she was wondering when she goes to a restaurant, should she celebrate and eat what she wants or eat something light and healthy? I am one of those. For your birthday, eat what you want. Eat which it is one day out of the year. It's not
Hmm.
going to mess up. But also your mind,
Hmm.
you need to be at peace with it too. Because some people just cannot eat off track, even on their birthday.
Hmm.
They're going to have so much guilt about it. So what if you cannot feel guilty, get what you want. It's your birthday.
Mhm.
One
And you
day
don't
is
have
not
to
gonna
go
mess up.
crazy
Yeah,
the entire day. You
you
could
don't have to go
also
crazy.
you
Yeah.
could also be on track, for breakfast and lunch, and then kind of have a
Mhm,
celebration dinner. But then the day after your birthday, just kind of get back on track. Um, just enjoy yourself. We don't want you to miss out on a
mhm,
celebration, but we also don't want the celebration to become another celebration and another celebration, and just in losing the consistency.
mhm.
Definitely, Jody, celebrate your birthday,
Yes.
but make sure that it is the one day or the one meal, perhaps, and then kind of get right back on it afterwards.
Mhm. Yes. And hi, Joy. We're glad you're here. And I'm glad that there was no tornado. But so this cycle of restarting on Monday, for some people, it feels productive. Like it feels like you're getting a fresh start, so to speak,
Hmm.
all the time. But it actually keeps people stuck. It's not productive. It might feel that way for some people, but it's not. It keeps you stuck.
Yes, and Linda mentioned last week, lots of birthdays. She celebrated her birthday. She saved half of her food from immediately. That's one of our biggest suggestions is saving your food, and then brought the rest of the home for another meal. So you were
Mhm.
able to stretch out your birthday meal and enjoy it longer than just the one meal, so which is really great. Regina has a birthday tomorrow. Happy early
Oh, happy
birthday!
early
And
birthday.
then their her anniversary of their husband is on Sunday. Great thing about those is there's days in between. So
Ours is next
enjoy.
Wednesday.
Yes, yes. I'm so
Fun
excited.
fact, did you remember that?
Yeah, I knew it was coming up soon. But yes, our ninth anniversary. So a few years less than you and your husband,
20 whole years, no big deal.
just 2 decades. But yes. But that's one of the great things about it is tomorrow, celebrate your birthday, then get back on it and stay on plan for 4 or 5 days, and then celebrate your anniversary. So
Mhm,
just make sure that you kind of have that back on track. Don't stay off track the whole 5 or 6 days just because, oh, I've got a birthday. Um, so celebrate your birthday, enjoy it, get back on
yeah,
track, and then celebrate the anniversary. So definitely enjoy those. Plus, those are the two events. Those two events won't happen again for another year. So just make sure you get
mhm,
back on track and go back on plan.
yes. So, with the Monday reset trap, as we wanna call it, It kinda creates an all or nothing mindset. It makes you feel like if I'm not on it today, I have to restart on Monday.
Mhm,
Like, it's all or nothing, and that's not the case. You can have, like we just mentioned, you can have that celebration, you can have that off day, you can have that crazy day where you just kinda have to fit everything in, and it's just kind of off. You can have that and still be okay and not have to wait a whole nother week to start over.
mm,
You don't have to have that all or nothing mindset. It's consistency over perfection. You don't have to be
mhm,
perfect. You can start right back. You can have that messed up lunch where you went to a buffet and
mhm.
ate, 2,000 calories and just start back over for dinner. You do not, I feel like I'm repeating myself constantly, but you do not have to wait until Monday.
Mhm. Tammy says she's new to these meetings and wants to know how to get on track.
Um,
Um, Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I've said before, start small. You don't have to do it all at once. Pick one meal that you want to work on, whether it
Mhm,
be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Pick that one meal and try to work on that. And then when you get that where you're eating healthier, where it feels good, add another. Another thing that we've talked about before is eat normally for a couple days and see like what you're normally eating,
mhm.
track your
Track it.
calories,
Mhm,
track your bites, and then just try to do a little bit less
mhm.
and just do that until you get to where the app says you need to be.
Mhm, exactly, and also the same goes for activity. Um, Whatever activity you do now, just try to add a little bit to it.
Mhm.
So what we like
Y
to do is get an average. So let's say for me, when I'm being less active because I have a desk job, 3 or 4 thousand
Mhm.
steps. So take those averages and just add a little bit to it. So if you average 4,000 steps, try to do 4,500 steps, 5,000 steps. Once your average goes up, just add a little bit more to that.
Mhm.
So whatever your activity level is, just add a little bit to it. You don't have to go crazy. Don't go overboard and don't stress your body out too much because it takes a little bit of adjustment to get to that. So,
Mhm.
like she mentioned, with being on plan, track, make some minor improvements here and there, cut out some of the sugary sodas, um, but then add a little bit more activity in there.
Yes. And then Cindy on Instagram asked how we handle weeklies if you're off track for one meal. We like to say that's what they're there for. If you have a meal where you're just crazy off track, not like crazy, but like
A
if
little
you
off
eat,
track.
40 extra bites, that's what they're there for. So don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like you can't eat,
Hmm.
what you're supposed to the rest of the day or the rest of the week because you've eaten all your weeklies. Sometimes you go over your weeklies and it's okay. Not every single week will be that way. So
Hmm.
don't like stress about it if you use all your weeklies or if you're like, oh my goodness, I've had 60 bites today. I'm out of weeklies. It's okay.
Hmm.
Don't stress about it. Do not, we like to say, do not undereat
Oh yes.
to make up for a
Don't
day of
Yeah,
overeating.
don't overcompensate. So if
No.
you go over 20 bites one day, don't starve yourself the next day.
But the weeklies are there
Hmm.
for you to use.
Absolutely. And Medina, you mentioned going all out on Sunday. Our all out, we love Korean barbecue. And Korean barbecue, we can go and get pretty much all proteins. And while it's still probably a lot more calories, maybe a little bit more fat than we would normally have, or little bites, but when it comes to our all out, having a whole bunch of protein and steak and stuff is really
Hmm.
the lesser of a lot of the evils. So go all out. Sometimes you can pick the healthier option of going all out instead of having a bunch of fried foods. Have a bunch of protein, a
Yes.
lot of steak.
And hi, mom. My mom's here. um,
Joy had almost 13,000 steps today, which is a lot.
I have almost 10,000.
I
She works with kids too, so she knows.
well, I'm at 7,600. My minimum goal is like 7,500. I'd like to get more, but
Mhm.
that's a pretty good
Yeah.
medium. Mediterranean restaurant. Mediterranean can be quite easy to be a
Yeah.
little on the healthier side, but still enjoying yourself and still go all out.
Yes.
We love
Um,
Mediterranean food. Sorry.
we
We
do.
love food.
We love food. That's how we got to where we are.
Exactly, and that was one of our previous posts. So if you want to go back to some of
Mhm.
our one of our previous sessions, was how to lose weight when you love food. We we
Yes, and we
we,
do love food.
we do, and we've lost weight.
Yes. And then another key factor is make sure that you don't make one off-plan meal
Hmm.
into I ruined everything. It did not ruin everything to have one off-track meal. Like I said, you can start right back over right
Hmm.
after that. Um, and then Mondays are not a permission slip for you to just eat however you want before that
Hmm.
Monday start over. Because like I said, like this past weekend, if we would have just said we'll start over on Monday, We
We
would
would have
have
had a
eaten
whole extra
so
day.
much more on Sunday and then been even more further back than we were. We gained a bit of bloat. We've already lost some of that bloat, but we would have gained even more bloat
Mhm,
after, if we would have had that extra day.
mhm,
So don't use it as a permission slip to eat whatever in the world you want until Monday or the first or,
mhm.
the new year or whatever that start over date
Don't
is for
wait for
you.
that start over date.
Yeah.
Make the start over date be right after you had
Hmm.
the extra meal or snack or
Hmm.
whatever.
Yes. And the problem isn't really Monday. It's what you feel like Monday's going to fix.
Mhm,
Monday doesn't fix anything. Just because it's the first day of the week, so to speak, or the first day of the work week or whatever it is, it's not going to fix everything. If you're starting over every Monday, that kind of is showing that your mindset's not where it should be anyways.
mhm.
And sometimes we need to fix our mindset before we can fix anything else. It's not just about weight, it's not just about the physical, it's about our mindset as
Oh, yeah.
well. So if you're consistently starting over, like constantly, then you need to also figure out what's going on here that's causing that as well. Because
Mhm.
sometimes there are things like stress, anxiety, all those kinds of things that can be causing issues as well.
Mm. Maybe this point Courtney's mentioned multiple times journaling. If you're
Hmm.
finding yourself constantly having to do that Monday reset, journal and see where your life is taking you. See what things that you might find in your day, your week, your month that are causing you to kind of get off track and help focus on those. So if you're noticing there's a lot of stress, what can you do to help counteract your stress? Find healthier outlets for the stress so that you can channel that into something more positive.
Hmm.
Like for us, sometimes when we get stressed out, we can get enjoyment out of going and blowing some steam off at the gym.
Hmm. Which I never thought I'd be that person, but here I
Yeah,
am.
it's quite weird, but
Yeah.
find ways to blow off steam, whether that's going for a walk, playing a game with your child, reading a little bit of one of your favorite books, playing a game. We've been really enjoying playing Minecraft as a family, and so that can be kind of a little bit of a stress reliever. But if you're having issues with stress, find another outlet. Um,
And be careful if it is baking. That's one thing I like to do when I'm stressed is bake or cook, but sometimes that can be a little iffy. So just be careful if it's something like that.
Mhm, absolutely. But we want to just focus on and stress consistency beats reset every
Hmm.
time. So if you can be consistent 10 days and then just mess up the once and then go back on it for another 10 or 15 days, that beats and getting off the track once every 5 days.
Hmm.
The 10-15 days of consistency is going to beat the being out of consistency every few days.
Hmm. And Lydia mentioned that whatever you're overeating with, like if it's desserts or something, there's so many different recipes to make it healthy that have great taste and could also help. We,
Mhm.
I love finding ways to make something that I love healthier. I have a Butterfinger pie
Mm.
recipe that is so good, and I've made it healthier. It does not taste exactly like it, but when I'm craving that Butterfinger pie, it gets me my
And
fix.
it's not super, super
No,
healthy,
but it's
but it
healthier.
is a lot healthier than the full fat version. And so if you have a slice of that, she gets her sweet fix without going completely
Mhm.
off track.
Yes, absolutely. But with this, repeatable habits, results come from repeatable habits and not from constant fresh starts. Habits is what's going to get it.
Mhm.
Fresh starts or not. And this is not saying never make a fresh start because
Mhm.
sometimes we all mess up. We all have those weeks or months where we're just off. Like things happen.
January for us was kind of a refresh, a restart, but we've been on track since January,
Yes.
and we're already 4.5 months into this year, so well over
Hmm.
a third of the way into the year. So really good.
Yes.
Fidgets.
Joy mentioned fidgets help when she's stressed. That's actually Chris. Chris has a ton of different fidgets at
Yeah,
his desk
I
for her to
have
play
to
with.
not play with them while we're in the meeting because it has a tendency
Like
to be a little
literally,
loud.
like look at all these things. He has a ton at his desk that he will just fidget with. So
Mhm,
those do help as well. But find those things that help when you're stressed.
mhm,
Um, sorry, I got lost on I got really mixed up on our notes. Um, but small actions can add up. Walking, your protein choices, your water, your sleep, all those things, and pick one thing. Like I mentioned earlier, pick one thing to focus on. If you're constantly like having that fresh start, just pick that one thing to focus on and then
Mhm.
add something else when you got that down.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's not the matter of we keep messing up, but it's just we're adding too much at one time.
Mhm.
So just pick that one thing and then get really good at that and then add something else.
Mhm. Exactly. Consistency isn't perfection, but it's returning as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
So you get off track, getting back on track as quickly as possible is going to be the key here. So you're not staying off track for a longer period of time, gaining
Mhm.
2 pounds and then losing one and then gaining three more. Those types of things. It's going to be better to have smaller setbacks. So
Yes.
you gain half a pound, lose a pound and a half. So you're still net loss a pound.
Yeah.
So definitely consistency isn't perfection.
Yes. And minor setbacks are part of any process.
Mhm.
It's not a failure. There is literally not a person out there, no matter how healthy they eat, no matter how much they work out, that doesn't mess up every now and
Mhm.
then. That doesn't eat, 1,000-calorie dessert every now and then. My coach, my health coach, she ate the other day. She got into the Easter candy and ate 10 pieces without realizing what she was doing. And she's a health coach.
Mhm.
Like, we're coaches. We do this too. Like, it's everybody. And minor setbacks are part of the process. It's
Mhm.
something that's going to happen with everyone. And every time you have a setback, you cannot just go off the deep end and then decide you're going to have a fresh start on
Mhm.
Monday.
Yeah, one meal, one weekend doesn't erase all of our progress, and also, feeling like you failed leads to shame, and shame leads to quitting. So we don't want to quit, no matter what. Whether we've
Mhm.
had a minor setback or a big setback, the biggest thing is to not quit. So we do need to allow ourselves some grace so that we can continue on with
Mhm.
our goal of getting healthier.
Yes, and the goal is not to avoid slipping because like I said, everybody's gonna slip, but the goal is to recover faster each time. If you do have to have that fresh start, make that fresh start sooner every time.
Mhm.
Because like we said, it's not a bad thing to have a fresh start, but when that fresh start is every single Monday, that's when it kind of becomes a problem.
Mhm. And the key thing here is you don't need a restart. You need a reset at your next decision. You go off plan for dinner. Your next meal needs to be back on track.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we've got some tools, kind of practical tools to help break through the cycle. Courtney's mentioned this multiple times, the 80-20 rule. So aim to be as consistent as possible 80% of the time. You have that little bit, the 20% of leeway to give yourself a little bit of leniency, but being on track, on plan with your food and your exercise 80% of the time will set you up for success, and you will have losses and you will get close to your goal. And they might be a tiny bit slower, but
Mhm.
slow and steady is really important. Going back to
Yeah.
that tortoise and the hare story that we had hammered into us through all those
Mhm.
Bugs Bunny
Yeah.
cartoons, slow and steady will kind of win the race, so to speak.
Mhm. And then don't have like start over language. Replace it with stuff like I'll get back on track next meal. Instead of I'll get back on track on Monday. I'm going to start fresh on Monday. Next meal is going to be better.
Hmm.
I'm going to try hard. I'm going to do better. Also plan harder. Like if your weekends is your problem,
Hmm.
try to plan for your weekend. Every single weekend does not have to be a free for all. And yes, some weekends are
Hmm.
there. That's usually when parties happen, celebrations, but if every single weekend is a free for all, you're never going to get anywhere, and that's what we had to learn the hard way for 2 years.
Hmm.
So plan your weekends better. We have done so much better about planning our weekends. We make sure we have water with us. If we know we're going to be out for a while, we bring snacks. We will pack a lunch. We'll plan a healthier lunch to go out and get.
Hmm.
Plan your weekends, and that will help as well.
And then to have a minimum kind of baseline, build that habit in there. Try to, at minimum, get 20 to 30 minutes of movement in. Doesn't have to be strenuous. It could be, a walk. It could be going to
Mhm.
the trampoline park with your 6-year-old. Making sure that you prioritize protein at each meal. So if you can't control the entire meal, if you have to go out to eat, make sure you try to prioritize your protein. And then make sure that you get your water in, as we're both of us are taking
Yeah.
constant sips of our water. Having those kind of baselines, a little bit of movement, making sure you prioritize protein, and then getting your water in, getting those at a minimum will keep you on track.
Yep.
And then the damage control mindset is what's the next best choice kind of thing. We don't have to completely undo what we did, but what's the next best
Yep.
choice. Going back to the Disney movie, is Elsa and Anna do the next right thing.
Yep.
Didn't know I would be using Frozen
No.
quote for our health journey.
But
Uh,
I think that's about it.
oh yes, wow, time flew by.
I know.
I thought we still had about another 10 minutes left, but we have like
Do you have much more?
4 minutes left. No, I really don't think
Okay.
we have really much left to do. So let's go on and talk about our recipe that Courtney has for this week. It is delicious.
Yes. This is a buffalo chicken pasta. It's makes 6 servings. You need 2 cups of fat-free cottage cheese or any cottage cheese you want. A pound of cooked chicken breast, so just go ahead and cook it. You can use rotisserie chicken, you can use canned chicken, whatever you want. A half a cup of buffalo sauce. This is, excuse me, this is per your preference. If you like it spicier, use more. If you don't like it spicier, use less. Um, a packet of ranch seasoning, and then 8 ounces of the chickpea pasta shells. That's the like bonza, like the protein pasta.
Hmm.
I realized actually at the store today that Goodles has their own pasta. Like that's not with like the mac and cheese, like it's actual pasta. So any of the protein pastas. Our cat's making a lot of noise
She's
back
trying to
there.
get into the closet. Sorry.
So you're going to cook the pasta according to the package directions. While the pasta is cooking, blend the cottage cheese, buffalo sauce, and ranch seasoning until smooth. Set it aside. Dice or shred your cooked chicken breast, and add the sauce mixture. Once the pasta is cooked, combine the pasta and sauce and chicken mixture. You can also add cheese if desired. That will add more bites and calories and all kinds of things. One thing I do want to add, make sure like your chicken is not steaming hot when you add that mixture to it. And run some cold water over the pasta. I know it sounds weird, but the cottage cheese will curdle if it gets too hot too fast.
Hmm.
So that's just a little pro tip. This is between 4 and 8 bites, depending on your plan. 305 calories, 24 net carbs, and 38.8 grams of protein.
So almost 40 grams of protein. So that is one way
And
to
if
get
you
your
add
protein
more
goal.
cheese to it, that will add more protein as well.
Absolutely. So that is our recipe for this week. All right.
Yep.
And as Linda mentions on Facebook, keep on keeping on.
Yep.
So we definitely want to make sure we pick ourselves up immediately and get back on track. If you don't hear anything else,
Get back up again.
that's trolls, right?
Yeah, that's trolls. We actually listened to that in class today, so it's fresh in my brain.
Yes. If you don't get anything else, the key to today's or this week's session is get back on track quicker is going to be more ideal than waiting for Monday to get back
Yes.
on there.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining us this week. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you again next Tuesday.
Yes.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.